Are risk associated with co-owning property with your kids to avoid the probate process. You are subjected to their liabilities that they may have. And so, as an example, because you're co-owners, any issues that they have, which would be divorce settlements, lawsuits, or creditors coming after them, your property would be subject to being lost in any of those events. And so they may be good financially, they may be making smart decisions, but we don't really know what's going to happen in their future. They may go through a divorce, and that property, their half of it, could be split up in that divorce settlement. They could get into a car accident, and the lawsuit coming after them could exceed their insurance coverage, and they will be forced to sell off assets inside of their estate to pay off that judgment. They could lose their job and not be able to cover any of the bills that they have, and then creditors can start coming after the assets that they own, which will be part of that property. And so if you guys co-own a property together, those situations are able to come after the assets in their name, which will be half of that property. In that event, they could either put a lien on that property, or they could force that property to be sold to pay off any of those debts or judgments that that individual may have. And so when you co-own a property with kids to avoid the probate process, you are introducing risk. There are other options that you could take, but it's going to avoid the probate process. You just need to be aware of the risk that it could bring upon your ownership of that property. Other things that you could do, if it's available in your state, is a transfer on death deed. That way you maintain full ownership of that property, and it just passes down to them when you pass away. Another one would be a revocable trust. You can put the assets in there. You can be the trustee and the beneficiary, maintain full control over that property while you're alive, and then when you pass away, that property can be distributed out to your beneficiaries, which will be your kids, when you pass away. The benefit of the revocable trust, if you want to set it up this way, is you can put rules in there that keep the property inside the trust. And so after you pass away and the property is sitting inside the trust, if they have any of those situations at that point, the divorce, lawsuits, creditors coming after them, they can't touch that house because the house is inside the trust. And it's fully separate from them as individuals because you're not passing out into their name. So that's another thing to think about there. If you want help setting this up, click the link in the bio, fill out the form, and schedule a time to talk to someone on our team.